Hey bikers, thanks for tuning in to a Biker Man video. Today I'm out at the Pecan Grove Park in Rowlett, Texas at the latest Dorba Trail. Stick around to check it out. So I've visited several other Dorba trails on this channel, and Dorba is Dallas Off-Road Bicycle Association. Basically, it's a group that coordinates off-road mountain biking trails in the Dallas region. And this one is, 5-10 minutes from my house. I actually, I'm very rarely on Facebook, but I happened to just be lucky enough to see that they announced the opening of the trail on Facebook. And so I went the next morning. And you'll see here that a lot of the area, the trails in my area have been closed. And so I was super excited to get out here and ride this. But you'll notice here in the video that a lot of my riding, especially early in the ride, I was actually really trying to find the trails. There was some signage, but it was sparse, and the trails are so brand new that a lot of the areas are not established, like nobody's ridden them. A lot of the areas have been weed whacked or cleared, the more obvious areas in the forest. But some of these like in between areas like this one, I'm like looking around like, where's the trail? Okay, here's a road. Should I ride the road? What's the story with that? But when I was there towards the end of my ride, I actually ran into like one of the trail stewards. I'm not sure exactly what they're called, but the guy who like oversees the installation and maintenance of the trails, and a super nice guy. But they were literally in the middle of installing signage when I was there. And I have subsequently been back to the trails, and the signage is like a million times better. I know there are still a couple of spots I think that they're putting stuff in, but it's very obvious now which way is for biking, which way is for hiking, where the trailheads are, and everything like that. But this video can give you a taste of what the trails look like, but don't take this as a directional for how to go on and off the trails. I was definitely not going the right way. In fact, I'm going out the entrance right now on that portion of the trail. So anyway, it was a really fun ride. There are 5 total trails. There's Eleanor, Penny, Lucy, Rita, and Blackbird. And that is actually the order that I would recommend riding them in. And as you look at the map of the trails, you'll see the trailhead closest to the parking lot is Eleanor. That's where I started, and I think on the day that I went, of all of the trails, the signage was the worst on that one. So maybe I rode 30% of the trail on this day. But after going back, I've ridden the whole thing now. It's really fun. It is a perfect warm-up. Is a lot of this kind of mellow, kind of similar to what we're seeing here, mellow sort of forested trails, not a lot of technical stuff. Be a little careful because there are a couple spots where you go over paved trails that are for walking and biking. So just use caution when you're out there. And it is unlike some of the other Dorba trails. This one is frequented by hikers and bikers and other people using the trails because the Rowlett Community Center is right there, and there's a water park and other stuff going on. So you will probably see other people out there. But anyway, I started with Eleanor. It was a great warm-up. It goes down into Penny, which is a really unique little trail. It goes down by the lake and kind of goes around a little soccer field area. Also really beautiful, but kind of like an extension of your warm-up. And then you connect with Lucy, which feels similar to Eleanor, but maybe like a few more like open stretch areas, so you can get I think maybe a little bit more speed, like not as many like sharp U-turns. And from there, you go into Rita and Blackbird. And Rita and Blackbird, Well, they're really kind of paired together,
Okay.
practically, because you have to take Rita
Yeah, they're
to
just
get to
finishing 'em.
Blackbird, but they're also like you ride them together. They're the most similar of the other trails. There's a lot of sort of ups and downs. There's more, I think, more technical sections. It's a little, there are more logs and like cement pilings and sharp pin turns, and you go along a creek. And they just feel most similar. And for me, they were really, really fun. And having started with the more sort of mellow or warm up kind of trails, I felt like I was like so ready to go by the time that I got to these two. And yeah, they were so much fun. There were several sections and spots where I was just laughing and smiling, and like by the time I finished, I was just so stoked. I was just like, I went back to talk to the trail steward and just thank him for how awesome the trails were. I don't know a lot about him, but it seemed like a lot of these spots were just like really well thought out, and a lot of the other trails. Some of the other Dorba trails, they're all really fun, but I feel like a lot of them, or a lot of the trails are like sort of spots are like out of convenience. Like the trail can only go one way, whereas there was a lot of spots here where it was like, oh, they put this little turn in and then down the hill and then through here. It felt like a flow, and I was challenged in a lot of different ways. And I'm not like, you guys know, you've seen this channel. I'm not some gnarly guy, but I think that there's some fun skill stuff for people who are not just beginners like me. So, yeah, I really, really cool. Couldn't recommend it more. Like I said, I've already been back, and yeah, I saw other people out there riding and hiking and everything. It's a gorgeous spot. Go check it out. And yeah. So as far as just like overall, like the goods and the bads, I don't know. I'll start with the bads. The signage on this day wasn't good, and a lot of the like open areas between the trails aren't well established yet. But like I said, I've been back subsequently, so that situation is kind of taken care of. I maybe I saw that announcement on Facebook, maybe a day too soon. Maybe if I'd seen it a day later, I would have never even noticed it. But since I've been back, yeah, definitely the signage situation is dialed in. And then also just know like the trails are still a little raw, I think, like in need of people riding them. And there's some thorns and some areas where, there are, a bunch of branches and things like that. But I also think that for me, that's also a good, because I think it's really fun establishing the trails a little bit. So it doesn't, it feels like you're kind of not the first one riding them, but it feels like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing something that, hardly anybody else has seen, and you're actually helping make the trails better by being out there. So also on the goods, I think there's lots of variety, like you're seeing here. There's like ups and downs, side to side stuff. There's also some more of the mellow stuff in the, the Eleanor type trail. But yeah, it seems to be better drainage than some of the other trails. A lot of the trails around here, it rains and they're closed for a while, but I don't know if it's just like the elevation, it's all kind of on a hill, and the type of soil. It just seems like when it rains, this thing's going to open up quickly. So anyway, that's always good. A lot of these trails get closed for months and months during the rainy season. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Get out there, check out this trail, help establish it a little bit. And yeah, I appreciate you turning in a Biker Man. Have a great day. I will see y'all out there.